Hey guys, welcome back to World Mechanics. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing to the channel. Today will be super helpful video guys to any of you having a Kia Optima and you need to remove or replace timing chain tensioner, the main timing chain tensioner. Stay with us, we'll explain guys how to do that. Number one thing, I will never recommend to replace the tensioner only. We'll recommend to actually do the whole timing procedure, install new timing chain tensioner, new timing chain guides, and bring the engine, okay, to where it's supposed to be, okay, TDC point, and to check the timing and everything. Because if you do the tensioner only, okay, there is a chance that you can screw it up, hit the valves, okay, and you can trash your engine. But in this video we'll explain how we do it, but we'll recommend never to do that, and check our video about timing chain replacement that will teach you everything from start to finish. Now let's explain what we'll be doing here guys. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about us. Every single car we get at the garage, we try to make at least 200 to 300 free repair videos. We take them completely apart and we show you guys how to fix pretty much anything. Why? Simply because our mission in the shop is to save you as much money as we can. All we need in return, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, that way we can keep providing this free information to you. Now, if you guys need to buy any parts tools for a really good price and quick shipping as well, check out the link in the description of the video below and you can see where we get all our tools and parts from. So first guys, okay, we need to remove a valve cover. Okay, valve cover is right here. We need to remove timing cover, but in order to remove the timing cover and reseal it correctly, you need to remove the oil pan. So all that will be covered. Stay with us, we'll do that and then we'll continue with the next step. So before we continue, we are going to pre-loosen, okay, the pulley for the water pump, the 3 bolts right here, okay, because we'll need to remove that pulley. So while you have the belt, it's going to hold the pulley and prevent it from turning, so we can pre-loosen those and then we can continue with the next step. So next we can remove the serpentine belt. In our case 14mm wrench, we go counterclockwise, we release the pressure and pull the belt out, and we can just go ahead and remove the whole belt out of there. We don't practically need it anymore. Okay, perfect. Next, okay, right here, this is where things get interesting guys. There is a special tool now, okay, there is a special tool that can prevent your crankshaft from turning, so you can take that bolt off. And there are 2 kinds of tools. Okay, I'll put the link to each one of them in the description of the video below. One of them, you have to remove the engine starter, and we have a special video that explains how to do that. You remove the engine starter and you install the tool, okay, right here on the flywheel, so it prevents the flywheel from turning. Or the other one is the tool guys, okay, will be installed on the flywheel underneath towards the oil pan, okay, right there. And when you install it on this bolt and the other bolt, you remove them, install the two, teeth goes in the flywheel, lock it in place, that way you can remove that bolt. If you guys don't have that tool, I will not recommend to do the job, but we do it without the tool. We get an impact, and I will not recommend to do that. Impact, air compressor, okay, and we just pre-loosen that bolt, but tightening it, okay, you will not know exactly how much torque you put, and there is a certain torque amount that you need to apply. So we pre-loosen ours with impact, and now it should just come off, okay, you can see, and we should be able to, okay, remove it now. Perfect. Now this doesn't hold the timing chain, so we can securely on that generation 2.4 GDI engine remove it, because it's a keyed pulley, and the timing chain sprocket is keyed as well, so it shouldn't jump. Some Ford, Mazda, Japanese vehicles, as you know, if you get that pulley loose, the timing is done and you can severely damage your car. So this one is not the case for that 2.4 GDI engine. So you can see that crankshaft pulley, okay, came out of here just like that. So next step guys, we need to remove the valve cover, the upper valve cover. So that's what we'll be doing next. Let's go ahead, okay, clear everything. Intake manifold is removed, the exhaust manifold is removed. Now those are the ignition coils, the gray piece, you pull them back, okay, check it out, one by one. Then you press down, okay, and you remove them. And one more here. If they're stuck, grab it here, push it in to release the pressure, push down here, okay, and it will come out. You have a seal that prevents water from going in, that's why it might be stuck. One more sensor wire for the exhaust VVT solenoid. We need to remove 2 clips right here. Okay, that sensor already we have it disconnected, this one, but you need to disconnect this one too. Right here, intake camshaft position sensor. After that, volume sensor wire needs to come out, fuel volume. And next, we need to get a 10mm and we need to start taking things apart, guys. We'll take quite a few things, so we can open up that engine, remove that valve cover, and we can continue. So one bracket for that wire here. Alright, perfect. Now, you can see all the wiring harness comes to the side. With that same 10mm, we're going to remove all 4 ignition coils. As you can see, they have 4 bolts that need to come out. Perfect. All right. Let's see now. Okay, what else we can do? That fuel line, you will leak fuel out, be prepared. You will need to have fire extinguisher on the side, have the car battery disconnected because you can catch yourself on fire, guys. Now, very important, you need to disconnect the low pressure fuel line too. If you want to see the video, it's on our channel while the engine was still in the engine bay of that Kia Optima, how to remove fuel line. Now we can unscrew a little bit on each side, each of the bolts for the high pressure fuel pump. Also guys, on these modern cars it really matters which battery terminal you disconnect first and reconnect first. If you do it wrong, you can cause damage to the engine computer and the electrical system. So we'll put a link to a video that explains all that in the description below. Now we're going to go ahead and start removing all the bolts for the valve cover here. So usually go, okay, here, cross pattern. So we're just removing each one of them. Oh no, wrong bolt. Okay, those bolts need to come out. You have to be careful not to drop them. So all of these, okay, need to come out. Okay, perfect. Now that upper valve cover should come out. Okay, that fuel line, if it's in the way, you may pre-loosen one nut here. Okay, and get it out, and the valve cover, okay, came out. You can see it just like that. So now we're going to next remove the open, guys. If the engine is in the vehicle, practically, okay, you can do it without any problems. What you will need to do though, you will need to disconnect the AC compressor, okay, 2 of the bolts, the bottom bolts, okay, right there. Careful not to break AC hose because you will leak all the freon and that can be, guys, dangerous. But what we can do, okay, we can go ahead, pre-loosen that bolt. It's super tight, and we're going to just remove the 2 bolts because they hold that bracket that attaches to the oil pan and the engine block. Okay, perfect. The 2 bolts are out. Now what we need to do next, okay, that bracket right here, guys, okay, needs to come out, that bracket. So if you look at it, okay, it needs to come out because there is bolts that you cannot access underneath. So we have now 12mm socket bolt here, 1, then we have 2, then we have 1 right there, 3, then we have 1 more on the other side, which is number 4, and that bracket came out, guys. Okay, you can see where all 4 bolts are located. So here is another one. Perfect. Now the oil pan itself, okay, will have, it doesn't have a gasket, it's just silicone sealed. That's how it is out of the factory, but this one somebody put enormous amount of silicone, which they shouldn't, and it wasn't sealed correctly too. So we will explain how to prepare it and what silicone to use, guys. Now with that 12mm socket there are two bolts that are super long. Okay, and those hold the whole bottom engine together, guys, the crank case you can see right there. So next we're going to go ahead, okay, and start removing with 10mm socket a few bolts. You can see this one is cross threaded, one more IC that's cross threaded. Okay, right there now. Now we keep going underneath. Okay, you can see where all the bolts are. Once we remove the oil pan, I'll show you guys where every single bolt is located, so we know what to expect. You have to make sure that the engine oil is drained. Okay, ours is already drained, but if you haven't drained it, it will be a huge mess. So make sure the engine oil is drained before you remove any components on the oil pan. Okay, if it's stuck, guys, this one wasn't sealed correctly. If it's stuck, you need to get a screwdriver and pry it down. If you bent it, it's fine, it's metal, so you can straighten it later. Okay, and we'll be rebuilding that engine. I can see pieces of a rod bearing here and a connecting rod as well. So yeah, we'll be rebuilding that engine, guys. Now let's explain what will be the next step to reseal it. We'll get the silicone that we use. You will need to get a scraper, clean everything super nice and good, not to have any old silicone. Clean it with rubbing alcohol. After that, clean the engine block everywhere, guys, with a scraper, with cleaning alcohol, and we're using that high temperature gray gasket maker, okay, which is amazing, guys. Okay, amazing. And you just apply, okay, on the inner side of the oil pan and around each bolt, okay, and on the inner side, and you close it, and practically that's how you guys reseal it. There is no gasket there. If you do everything by the book, every time you remove the timing cover, you need to remove the oil pan so you can reseal everything correctly. Otherwise, there is a chance that things will not align good, and that can develop leaks as well. So let's explain how to, okay, remove that timing cover now. You're going to have the engine mount here that we'll need to remove. If you have the engine in the vehicle, your engine needs to be supported really good, guys. Okay, really good, because from all the working and vibrations, make sure it doesn't fall. Support it on multiple points. Okay. And this one is coming out. Now we need to remove the tensioner pulley as well, which we recently replaced, because we will not be able to remove that bolt that's under the tensioner pulley there. Okay, let me show you. You can see that's the bolt right there. So let's go ahead. Okay, get that one with 14mm. Remove it now. This is counterclockwise. Okay, it's reverse. It's actually clockwise. You get it loose. No, the other way. It's a reverse threaded bolt, guys. This one. Okay, and it will be tight. Okay, perfect. But it did come loose. Now all we have to do, go ahead. Remember, it's reverse threaded. Perfect. And now right underneath we have another bolt that we can remove now to actually get to the bolt on the timing cover here. So let's go ahead, do that. This one is okay, what is that one? 17mm. So 17mm now is in our case right here. We're going to go ahead, remove that bolt. This is a normal threaded bolt. Get it loose, going counterclockwise. And that tensioner, it's important to install it in the correct location later, because if you look at it, you have one dot right here. Okay, let me focus a little bit slower, because okay, right there it aligns in this hole right here. So now we're going to remove the idler pulley right here with the same 14mm that we used earlier. Perfect. Now the water pump that we pre-loosened earlier, it's with 10mm, so we need to go ahead, remove the 3 bolts here. Perfect. Alright, great. Now, if you look at it now, guys, okay, what we have here, we have only 10 and 12mm bolts holding the timing cover in place. So let's go ahead, do that. Perfect, one is out. 2, this one you don't need to remove it, guys. 3, we have one on top, 4, here 5, 6, alright, 6, 12mm, up around one more right here, 7 12mm bolts, and the rest of them are 10mm. Okay, that we need to go ahead, remove. Perfect. And now let's see what else. Penetrating oil, guys. Here we need to spray the 2 guides, okay, that we have. Okay, really good. No, right here is the other one, because they can be really rusted and it can prevent the timing cover from coming out. Never, guys, okay, it could be stuck because of the silicone, but eventually it will come loose. You have prying points like right here, you can see, and you will have one more, okay, let me see, right there. But now it's important, guys, and on the back side here, it's important not to put too much pressure. If you do, that thing can easily crack. How we know that? We've done it in the past. They can easily crack. If it doesn't come out, just go a little bit on each side, on the bottom, multiple points, a little bit, wiggle it, and it will come out. You can see just like that. Those are the guides. Okay, right here on some it could be really rusted, guys, to the point that it can hold it really, really tight. So timing cover came out. Okay, with all that being removed, we're going to remove the spark plugs now. Why? Because when you're removing the tensioner, guys, there is always a chance, okay, the timing to jump on the camshafts, and if the pistons are at TDC, what can happen? Okay, the valves may hit the pistons, and as a result, okay, you can cause damage, and you can, guys, say bye-bye to your engine or have the cylinder head rebuilt. So by removing the spark plugs, we'll get a screwdriver and we'll position it to where, guys, okay, all 4 pistons are in the middle. None of them is at top dead center, and then we will attempt to replace the tensioner that we do here at the shop. Now, this is something that, again, I will not recommend. I recommend to replace the whole timing chain kit and even the oil pump, okay, chain, because we had cases where the oil pump tensioner arm disintegrated because it was on a really high mileage vehicle. So you guys want to make sure that everything's good. So, okay, spark plugs are out. Now, what we'll be doing next, guys, we need to get a screwdriver, okay, Phillips screwdriver, okay, that will fit in the holes here, or let me see if this one will fit, or we'll just get a Phillips one. And we're going to verify that the engine is not at TDC point. So, okay, cylinder 2 and 3 will match, 1 and 4 will match as well. So 4 and 1 are up. So what we're going to do, okay, we're going to install the bolt on the crankshaft now. Okay, and we're going to turn clockwise, okay, until that piston goes down a little bit. Okay, it's going up still, go down, okay, a little bit more, okay, like that. Now let me verify that all other ones, okay, 1 and 4 will be the same, nothing is up to the point that is going to actually bend valves. Now, what we're going to do, guys, okay, let's explain now for the tensioner how we're going to do it, but again, never ever do that, guys. What I recommend if you're doing the tensioner only, mark tooth with where it's supposed to be on the camshaft on the intake side and the exhaust side, so you can verify if it jumped. Mark it on the crankshaft pulley as well. What I will do now, guys, we can actually go ahead, and I'm going to hold tension here, on the tensioner arm, and that tensioner can come out. Check it out now. You keep holding tension here, until the tensioner comes out. Now, the tensioner, guys, if you get a new tensioner, sometimes when they ship them to you, they will come unreleased, so we will explain to you how to release them. What we're going to do, we will stick a screwdriver here and hold it, but the tensioner has a tooth right here, guys, that if you position it correctly, you might need to turn the stem a little bit. You can compress it like that, and you can install a locking pin here. Let me just, we'll get a locking pin. I'm holding it in place just to see where that locking pin is there that we can hold the tensioner with, so that way it's not going to release, guys, because otherwise, it's going to jump out. Perfect, like that. It doesn't go more in. That's it. Now I'm going to leave it on the oil pan. I'll hold here while one person installs it, guys. Let's go ahead and do that. Get your 2 bolts. We have the torque specs on the timing chain replacement video for all of those. But I believe it was around 10 Newton meters, but check out the video to verify and don't quote me on that. We'll release the tensioner. You can see how it shoots out. That's a good tensioner. And pull to get all the slack out of it with hand. Nothing prying or anything like that, just with hand. And that's it, guys. You can see that's how we did it. Now, the correct way to verify the timing now, guys, if you want to do it, we have a video that explains how to verify timing on a Kia Optima. So you need to bring it to DDC point and check for a certain mark. So check it out and it will teach you to see if you jump the timing accidentally, which it is possible in some cases because it's recommended to replace the whole timing chain kit. Hopefully the video will be helpful. Thank you for watching and see you guys next time.